Chapter 850. Then all the abnormal phenomena today began because we, the awakeners, clashed, exerting our powers and disturbing the surroundings and gradually intensified. If his thinking was correct, the powers used by the awakeners, including himself, might have actually worsened the overall situation. However, it was inevitable when the sage and Nahan confronted each other. How could it have not led to the current outcome? As he bit his lip and took a deep breath, Kishir finally opened his mouth. What about the previous game? Just before the appearance of the abnormal crack, to what extent was there an abnormal flow of immense power? Were cracks and monsters always accompanying phenomena? I can't give a definite answer to the first part since I haven't confirmed it as clearly as this time. But I believe similar incidents had occurred for years without being noticed by anyone, including me. As for the cracks and monsters, no, they were not always accompanied. Either distinctly remembers that the abnormal cracks sightings began with the sudden earthquake, but not much before that. Even before the earthquake, the continent had already seen a significantly higher frequency of monster occurrences, incomparable to now. Some of these might have been related to monsters pouring out of the cracks, but now it's impossible to be certain. Anyway, according to Uder's memory, these abnormal cracks sporadically appeared in various regions, usually before or after diverse disasters struck. They were random in both time and place, and most witnesses often doubted whether what they saw was real, making it difficult to ascertain the frequency of these occurrences. Monsters did not always emerge where the cracks appeared. However, I'm certain that disasters invariably struck soon after in the vicinity of these cracks. Then the recent deluge of monsters was an uncommon occurrence. Perhaps it was because it was the first beginning. To use their analogy, like unlocking and opening a box for the first time. That might be possible. If today's imbalance only results in this unusual weather change and the emergence of the cracks, it would be fortunate for us. But if monsters appear like last time, it will be a serious problem. The reason was simple. Neither Kishir nor Yudhar have the capacity to perform as they did the last time. After finishing, Kishir gazed up at the crack, broke the silence. If Aton and his allies aim to disturb balance and bring disaster and chaos, then the more the balance is disturbed, the more we can assume something will emerge. It's like initially there was just a little sleet, which gradually turned into hail, and finally the crack appeared. Listening to Kishir's words, Yudha reflected on the day's events, aligning them with the anomalies. When the funeral was about to begin, the sleet seemed to pause and almost stop. The situation began to seriously worsen when Nahan and the sage started clashing. The sky darkened completely and fierce winds blew, coinciding almost exactly with Kishir's intervention in Nahan's rampage using a Kane shadow curtain and striking a massive wall. According to Kana, the sleet then fully developed into hail, and the cracks appeared around the time either spared no effort in using his powers to confront Nahan. Indeed, if we can prevent any further destabilization of the balance here, we might be able to manage a recovery. That would be ideal, but muttering to himself, Kishir suddenly posed another question. Yudhar, what do you think is the biggest difference between the time when monsters poured out of the abnormal crack and now? Back then, magic was used as a key to disrupt the balance, and there were numerous deaths, almost like a sacrifice by the awakeners. This time, neither has happened. True, today no magic was used and no one died, but isn't that just so far? Do you mean to suggest that if Nahan dies, monsters might appear? It was a possibility. There was no absolute certainty in any of this. But after a moment of contemplation, Yudha shook his head. However, Nahan's power has almost entirely drained. If he were to die explosively, it might be a different story. But if he dies quietly, it's unlikely that his death alone would cause enough disturbance to unleash monsters from the crack. It's different from before. I wasn't referring to Nahan, but to Hosanna. At that, User's eyebrows twitched momentarily. I say, I had momentarily forgotten about him. If he awakens and goes on a rampage like Nahan, we will have no time to contain it. Then it really will be. Hosanna's abilities were in disarray, having been forcibly used again, and to the point where he couldn't travel long distances. In that state, even if he went on a rampage, he couldn't unleash the same level of power as Nahan. But one mustn't forget that he had shown enough power to rupture Alex's suppression device. The thought that these abnormal cracks might spew out the same, or perhaps even more monsters, just with a tiny ripple sent a chill down his spine. Last time, there was one crack. This time, there were three. We should probably head back. Just as Kishir turned to leave, thinking the same thing, it happened. Thump. A sensation of a massive flow of power settling in descended upon them. It was so intense that even the exhausted Yidar reflexively reacted. It's Nahan. The distinctive force of an enemy one had confronted before can be recognized later on, especially the power of one who had been in a state of disarray which he had just been facing to the point of nausea. With his senses on high alert, Yidar caught the faint sound of a scream amidst the intense noise of hail smashing against the ground. Clearly, something chaotic was happening. Had sending Myra away been a mistake? Without responding, Kishir immediately turned and leaped. Even carrying Yidar, his movements were unrestricted, light and fast. The muddy ground, deep enough to be unbelievable from a human step, tried to cling to their ankles, and the fierce wind lashed at their skin, but nothing could stop them. An invisible flow of force enveloped them, pushing them towards their destination. Worried about Kishir using his abilities again, Yudhir remained silent, focusing only on his vision. After several leaps, they soon returned to the place they had just left. The scene before them was complete chaos. Amidst a pool of bright red blood, the swirling aura of power, the cavalry members seemingly using their abilities to counteract it, and between them, Myra stood bewildered, surrounded by screaming non-awakener masses. It was clear that just a while ago, this place had been occupied solely by the cavalry and their allies. Who were these people now? Please, let me down. Kana? Either disembarked from Kishir's back and sought out Kana. Near Myra, Kana, who had been continuously shouting while protecting her, turned her head. Her face and body were stained with blood. Either. What's happened here? Duke Honey is dead. Killed by Nahan. Kana's voice quivered as she shouted, her face ashen. Either glanced once more at the blood behind her, then asked in an even colder voice, "What do you mean, Nahan killed Duke Honey?" It seemed the Duke's side learned of First Princess Myra's whereabouts, and she came to negotiate with Nahan. Suddenly, he appeared leading a group of people and... Nahan, I'm Myra El-Honey, the first daughter of the Honey family. Myra's voice transmitted from afar through Kana and the cavalry members. Nahan's eyelids, nearly closed in death, twitched and moved in response. I have heard of your existence before. What I want to say is, I'm sorry that my family couldn't rescue you when I first learned about you.